turns out, yung mga problema pala nagda-drop yung volume. All throughout pala, hindi sa isang network lamang.
So galing yun dun sa feed on mismo.
Ganun. Kaya, naghanap ako ng mga actual transcripts ng mga presentation. So, hinahanap ko pa yon. Kasi, interesting ang mga nilatag kahapon. Again, hindi pa ito trial.
Yes.
Ito ay paglalatag lang. Pero parang trial na rin lumalabas eh.
Well, they are
Akala
showing...
ko dati parang recitation lang siya, o litany lang siya ng mga charge, ng mga sinasabing ebidensya papakita. Hindi rin pala.
I mean, this hearing is being done to see kung may sufficient evidence daw to go to trial. So I guess kailangan nila magpakita ng mga katulad ng pinakita kagabi niya doon sa opening statements niya Attorney Joel Butuyan na may mga videos of the former president, yung mga reaction niya to the ICC, reaction niya when he was being interviewed by media doon sa kanyang war on drugs. So ang daming pinakita, no?
Sabi ng defense, expected na yan. Contextualize nyo, ito ay paraan lamang ng presidente para manakot in the name of peace and order. Parang ganyan. No? May editorializing din pala. Kasi doon sa persecution, may parang gano'n na rin ang nangyari. May statement siya. The virus daw of impunity, nagkaroon daw ng mga mini Dutertes.
Mga clone nga ang
clone.
sabi. And yung nakakita ko ng interview, yung mga kapwa natin Pinoy who was actually there in The Hague para suportahan ng dating presidente, hindi daw nila nagustuhan yun. Yung term na parang clone. Yung term na parang sunod-sunur. At dahil sabi nila, hindi naman kami sunod-sunuran. Sabi nila. Yun ang kanilang reaksyon. They took offense to that.
Kung tunay na clone ba sila, gagawin ba nila? Kinis ng putis.
Ayun. Basta kayo ng kanilang
so abangan natin.
Reaksyon.
Day 2 ngayon,
Day
Arthur.
2,
Ano ang ini-expect natin?
Again, we heard last night Attorney Joel Butuyan as well as the lawyer for the former president, si Nicholas Kaufman. Lead counsel siya. Maglalatag pa ulit ata ng mga ebidensya na ba tawag doon?
Oo. So marami pa pag-uusapan natin yung day 2 mamaya.
We do have a special again later tonight, so tune in for that.
All right. First, let's see highlights of day 1 of the former Philippine president's confirmation of charges hearing at the ICC. Quite powerful and controversial opening statements during Monday's proceedings. And here is the report.
At the opening of the confirmation hearing, pre-trial Chamber 1 presiding judge Ulia Antoanela Motok explained that under the court's rules of procedure, it was permissible for former President Rodrigo Duterte to be absent from the hearing. The charges against Duterte were formally read in court, including 2 counts of murder and 1 count of murder and attempted murder, allegedly committed from his time as mayor of Davao City up to his presidency. The prosecution, lawyers representing the victims, and Duterte's defense team were each given 30 minutes to present their statements. In their opening statement, the prosecution stressed that Duterte bears responsibility for the allegations.
The commencement of the confirmation hearing against Mr. Rodrigo Roa Duterte is a reminder of the court's unwavering commitment to its mission to investigate and prosecute individuals for the most serious crimes. It is also a reminder that those in power are not above the law.
Next to speak were the common legal representatives of the victims, or the lawyers representing the victims' families. Human rights lawyer Joel Butuyan expressed deep disappointment from the victims' families over Duterte's absence at the hearing. He said that although Duterte has been detained for a year, the families of the victims still have not found peace.
The virus of impunity that he spread all over the country has become a cancer that has metastasized, infecting millions of Filipinos. Mr. Duterte has created clones of himself. He converted millions of peace-loving citizens into bloodthirsty disciples who have become converts to the belief that violence and killings are valid solutions to societal problems.
Duterte's lawyer, attorney Nicholas Kaufman, meanwhile, argued that the court's decision should be based on evidence and not politics. He said Duterte's leadership style and use of strong language reflected openness and sincerity. Kaufman also made remarks comparing Duterte to current Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Rodrigo Duterte was and will always remain a unique phenomenon. His style of statesmanship was novel. His expletives, he spoke openly, from the heart, sincerely and truthfully. And what a contrast between him and his successor in the Malacanang. For President Rudy, his word was his word and the people knew it. For President Bongbong, his word is for the wind.
Kaufman appealed to the ICC to dismiss the allegations against Duterte.
We will ask you to send Rodrigo Duterte back to his family, and we will ask you to give back to the Filipino people their tatay digong.
Kaufman also revealed that the defense had obtained documents from the prosecution, which he claimed show that the Philippine government actively cooperated in bringing former President Duterte to The Hague. Among the documents cited was an alleged transcript of a phone conversation involving 4 parties, with one individual reportedly claiming to be acting as a silent partner of the president in their operation.
Meanwhile, families of drug war victims and supporters are gathering in Quezon City again. That's as former President Duterte's confirmation of charges hearing enters its 2nd day. And for the details, we have our mobile journalist, Arles de los Santos. Arles, okay, ano yung reaksyon ng mga tao dyan after the first day of hearing?
Lourd, alam mo, kagabi pa lang ay talagang halo-halong emosyon na yung naramdaman ng mga kapatid natin, lalo na yung mga kamag-anak ng mga biktima ng madugong war on drugs ng administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Simulan natin kagabi, pagsimula pa lamang ng kumpirmasyon na hindi makaharap ang dating Pangulo, ay agad nang nagpahayag ng pagkadismaya yung mga kamag-anak ng mga biktima ng war on drugs. Nila, buti pa daw si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, yung dating Pangulo, nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na humarap at magkaroon ng due process, hindi kagaya ng kanilang mga kamag-anak. Magkakaroon daw ng pagkakataon si Duterte na depensahan yung kanyang sarili, hamunin or i-challenge yung mga ebidensya at alegasyon sa kanya, at syempre madepensahan ng counsel na kung saan napakalayo daw sa nangyari sa kanilang kamag-anak na hindi man lang umabot ng presinto, kung saan yung ilan, pulis pangaraw mismo yung may gawa, at naipit pa yung death certificate, hindi nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na ma-autopsy ang mga ito, at yung iba wala talagang police report. Kaya naman labis yung kanilang kagalakan na ngayon may pag-usad na raw itong kaso nga laban kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Bagaman hindi pa ito yung conviction, confirmation of charges pa lamang, natatagal ng ilang araw, nakakakita na raw sila ng liwanag kahit paunti-unti, at yung ninanais nga nila na hustisya para sa kanilang mga kamag-anak. At ngayon, sa Quezon City, nagkakaroon ulit ng Justice Watch, yung online viewing muli ng mga biktima, yung mga kaamag-anak ng mga biktima ng war on drugs na inorganize ng Duterte Panagutin Network at yung Rise Up Pilipinas, at yung iba pa, meron pa din sa ibang mga lugar sa bansa na mga human rights advocate and groups. Lourd.
Arles, mabilis lang. Yung mga nakausap mo ba, kasama ba sila doon sa 500 plus na mga pangalan na gagamitin ng prosekusyon?
Yung ilan, Lourd, ay yung mga kakilala na lamang nila, yung kasama doon. Hindi tayo nakaroon ng pagkakataon na kumpirmahin kung sino man sa kanila ay kasama doon sa 500, Pero yung ilan sa kanila mula daw ng pumanaw yung kanilang kamag-anak, lumapit na rin sa mga human rights advocates and groups, para nga masulong pa din yung kanilang panawagan nga na pananagutan. Mamaya, pag dumating na iba pa nating mga kasama dito, kukumpirmahin natin kung kasama sila doon. No? Pero Lord, alam mo, isa sa mga kapansin-pansin din doon kahapon, nung nagsimula yung confirmation of charges, yung opening statement, meron ding mga kabahagi or miyembro, yung mga organizers ng online viewing na tinatranslate mismo yung yung proceeding, no, kung ano yung sinasabi, ano yung mga alegasyon, ano yung mga paglilinaw na yung sa gayon daw mas maintindihan ng mga kamag-anak nito yung sinasabi doon, no, dahil karamihan sa mga kamag-anak na ito ay galing sa marginalized sector, kaya malaking tulong daw ito para sa kanila na naiintindihan nila yung daloy ng pagdinig kahapon.
Okay, Arles, I also wanted to get the reaction, I guess, of the family members. Kasi nandyan sila kahapon. How are they reacting dun sa mga sinasabi na ni Nicholas Kaufman na parang this is just the way the former president talks, na nanakot lang siya, parang nada-downplay, kumbaga. And I also wanted to know, sa mga nakausap mo dyan, kasi kahapon alam natin na opening statements lang, but what are they expecting to see or hear ngayong day 2?
Yung reaction nila, Denise, doon sa mga parang dinownplay nga na mga salita at mga polisiya ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, syempre parang napapakunot yung kanilang mga kilay at medyo napapikit ng mahaba-haba. No? Hindi na alam kung ito ba ay inis o pagkadismaya na talaga dahil nga raw yung ilan sa mga naging hindi tama na mga pag-iisip ng publiko naapektuhan na rin yung paningin sa politika at mga polisiya sa bansa, na dahilan nga raw kung bakit naging kasama sa mga kolateral o kapital nitong war on drugs yung kanilang mga kamag-anak. No? Pero kagabi present doon si NUPL President Efraim Cortez, na para sa kanya wala daw comprehensive or malakas na statement yung depensa sa kanilang sa pagbubukas ng pagdinig, kaya kumpiyansa pa rin sila na magkakaroon nga ng liwanag ito, natutuloy ito sa paglilitis. At ang sigaw nila bago kasi mag-start yung program kahapon, nagkaroon sila ng konting rally, nag-chant sila na they really want to convict former President Rodrigo Duterte, at binanatan din nila yung mga dilatory tactics nito na paulit-ulit daw na mga motion na final dahilan para umatras itong confirmation of charges at syempre yung paglilitis. Actually, meron din nga silang pahaging kay Vice President Sara Duterte na maaga raw na nag-aanunsyo ng kanyang pagkapangulo dahil nakikita nila, at least for Duterte Panagutin Network, na ito daw ay paraan para subukan na iwasan or takasan yung hinahabol at ninanais na accountability mula sa mga issue na ipinupukol sa kanila.
May mga balita raw ng pagbabanta sa buhay ng mga kaanak dito mga biktima ng drug war. Totoo ba, Arles?
Lord, yung huli nating nakuhang information na ganun ay 2024 daw yun nangyari, And kagabi, nung sinusubukan natin na makakuha na ng mga interview, marami pa rin sa kanila yung naka-face mask, naka-sombrero, at umiiwas talaga na makuhanan ng camera. Dahil ayon sa kanila, may pangamba pa rin sila na makangaraw balikan at maharas ulit kagaya ng kanilang mga naranasan noon, kasi naniniwala sila na may influensya pa din, lalo pa mga pulis din, yung mga tinataga na kasama sa krimen na ito na ngayon ay dumadaan nga sa paglilitis. So at least for their safety, kaya pinablur natin agad yung kanilang mga muka nang magkaroon sila ng ganong mga concern. At kahapon, agad silang umuwi, mga around 7:30 past 7, ganyan. Umuwi na agad sila sa kanilang mga bahay. Hindi na raw sila magpapagripa ng masyado. At kanina yung mga dumarating din, yung iba naka-face mask din ulit, at susubukan ulit natin kung magkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na makuha yung kanilang mga pahayag at humanap sa television. Lourd.
Sige, ikaw muna, Denise.
Sige, I wanted to ask lang ulit, Arles, kasi yung may plano ba sila na karagdagang, let's say, mga marcha pa, mga rallies? Because we do know the confirmation, it will be up until the 27th, 60 days pa bago magkaroon ng desisyon yung ICC. Ano bang plano nila? Continuous rallies ba, Arles?
Yung kahapon, Denise, if we can recall, merong isinagawang kilos protesta doon sa Boy Scout Circle dito din sa Quezon City, kung saan nga yun ay organized naman ng iba pang progresibong grupo ng Siklab, Akbayan, and Tindig Pilipinas. Part daw yun, kasama na din yung itong mga Justice Watch na ito no sa mga tinatawag na build-up activities para sa paparating na 40th anniversary ng EDSA People Power Revolution. Kasama pa dyan syempre yung iba't ibang mga misa at mga colloquium na gagawin no bilang pag-alala dito. Naniniwala kasi sila na kadugtong at ng esensya ng People Power Revolution 40 years ago yung nangyayari sa ngayon no na dapat daw masiguro na hindi umabuso sa kapangyarihan yung ating mga opisyal ng pamahalaan no na sinundan nga ng panawagan at resolusyon na muling bumalik ang Pilipinas sa International Criminal Court.
Ito sunod, Arles, ay hindi tanong, no? Pero ito ay kinuwento lamang ni ICC Assistant to Counsel Cristina Conti. I'm sure marami na siguro iniisip na sana makapunta kami roon para maharap natin yung Pero yung mga nasa gallery daw mismo, yung iba, hindi ka pala pwedeng magpakita ng emosyon sa loob ng gallery. Kasi yung isa daw na kamag-anak ng biktima ay nung mangingiyak-ngiyak na, nilapitan daw ng security. Dito sa The Hague, kasi parang hindi pwede makitang umiiyak. So walang displays of emotion daw dapat. I'm sure maraming naluha. Baka hapon, Arles, apektado ba sila? May mga nagpakita ba ng emosyon?
Lourd, alam mo kahapon, pagkatapos ng kanilang pagsigaw ng kanilang panawagan na i-convict nga si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, agad silang pumasok doon sa Atencio Libunaw Hall no, sa UP Diliman, sa College of Law. No. Kasunod noon ay isinabit nila yung larawan ng kanilang mga kamag-anak na napaslang nga, no, bunsod ng war on drugs. At nagkaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na makapanayam yung isa sa mga magulang doon, si Nanay Maria, na ikinalulungkot niyan dahil hindi pa rin nabibigyan ng hustisya yung kanyang anak. No? At ganun din yung iba pang mga kamag-anak no, na nanatili yung kanilang pangungulila kasi halos isang dekada na raw naghihintay pa rin sila ng hustisya para sa nangyari sa mga ito. No? Wala namang pumigil so far ng emosyon sa kanila. Napakabukas ng hall kahapon doon sa UP College of Law para sa kanilang panonood. Kahit anong reaksyon at damdamin ay talagang napakinggan at hinayaan, no, inirespeto. No? Malayo naman syempre doon sa The Hague, of course dahil ito ay legal process and kailangan talaga na hindi rin of course makadistract doon sa isinasagawang pagdinig. Lourd.
Alright. Itong ICC hearing, may streaming at natuloy. Samantalang isang pinag-usapan natin ni Arles dati, yung ay nako, ewan ko. Pero maraming salamat na lang sa iyong ulat, ang ating mobile journal, Arles de los Santos. Thanks, Arles.
Now, speaking of relatives of alleged victims of the Duterte drug war, some of them flew to the Netherlands to witness the historic ICC hearing. Also present outside the foreign court are supporters of the former president. Both camps are armed with their truths. Here's the story.
Supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte gathered outside the International Criminal Courts in The Hague as the pre-trial chamber began the confirmation of charges hearings against him. Some traveled from other areas, and more are expected to join in the coming days. They hope the ICC will dismiss the charges against Duterte.
So far, masaya at the same time malungkot, pero masaya ako dahil they will know, mapapatuyan na yan nila na si President natin, former President Duterte, his involvement sa mga pinagbabato sa kanya is part of his program in the government.
Hopeful po kayo na mapapawala sala po?
Honestly, I'm not so sure because maraming, but never know. We love Tatay Digong. We love his legacy.
One supporter responded to being called a Duterte clone and a fanatic by a lawyer representing victims of the Philippine drug war.
I don't want the word fanatics. Hindi kami sunod-sunod lang na walang prinsipyo. So, they called us clones. Gumagawa daw si President Duterte ng mga clones. I don't want the terms used there.
Meanwhile, relatives of drug war victims closely monitored the opening day of the hearing, calling for Duterte to be held accountable for deaths linked to the anti-drug campaign. Human rights lawyer attorney Neri Colmenares expressed satisfaction with the prosecution's opening statement and described the evidence against Duterte as strong. His assessment was echoed by the mother of 2 alleged victims of extrajudicial killings.
Nung nagsalita yung prosecution, naging masaya dahil maliwanag naman maayos naman yung nailatag. Pati yung lawyer, si Attorney Veyra, okay naman yung kanyang pagsalansan ng mga defense, no? Pero pagdating kay Kaufman, mukhang out of the topic. Maybe, yun lang talaga yung maidi-defense niya dahil siguro wala na siyang ibang maging argumento. Pinagtatanggol niya si Duterte na sinasabi niyang wala namang patayan, wala namang pagpatay sa nangyari. Yung ganon. Parang yun sa amin siyempre isang masakit na maririnig yung ganon na kahit alam naman siguro niya, ganon pa rin yung sinasabi.
Again, it is day 2 of Duterte's hearing today in The Hague. In less than 14 hours, the ICC pretrial chamber is expected to continue taking up detailed arguments from the prosecution, the defense, and the legal representatives of participating victims. Judges will assess whether there are substantial grounds to believe Duterte committed crimes against humanity linked to his anti-drug campaign, a threshold required for the case to move to full trial. No witnesses will be called at this stage, but the 3-judge panel may pose questions to clarify legal and factual issues raised on day 1. Hearings remain capped at 3 hours, divided into 3 one-hour sessions. No ruling will be issued yet, as judges have up to 60 days after proceedings conclude to decide whether to confirm, amend, or dismiss the charges.
And on to other news, ano kaya ang nangyayari ngayon sa Senado? To get us up to speed is our mobile journal na hindi natin kasama ngayon. Balik siya doon. Si Merrimon Reyes. Balita namin, Merrimon, may ambush interview sa nagdiriwang ng kaarawan ngayon. Si Senadora Risa Ontiveros on this day ay double citizenship na siya. Siya ay 60 years old. Merrimon.
Tama, Lourd, Denise. Kanina nakasama rin natin doon sa press office itong si Senator Risa Ontiveros celebrating her 60th birthday ngayong araw. And so far, ang nasabi niya patungkol dito sa pagsisimula ng confirmation of charges kay former President Rodrigo Duterte sa ICC, historic day daw ito, lalo't umabot sa International Tribunal itong kaso patungkol sa extrajudicial killings, sa war on drugs na umano ng administrasyong Duterte. At ang tanging pinakainihiling lang dito, pinagdarasal ng senadora, ay yung maayos daw na proseso, especially para daw sa mga pamilya ng mga naging biktima nitong war on drugs nang hanggang ngayon ay humahanap daw ng hustisya. Para naman doon sa mga senador na napangalanan ng ICC bilang co-perpetrators ng war on drugs, sabi dito ni Senator Risa, mahirap man daw o nakakalungkot man daw, pero kakailanganin daw harapin yung mga prosesong susunod dito dahil nga sa pronouncements din ng ICC. This is in particular nung natanong si Senator Risa, ano yung masasabi niya dahil napangalanan si Senator Bongo at Senator Bato de la Rosa as co-perpetrators sa war on drugs. Lourd, Denise.
Denise, ikaw.
Ay, ano na bang balak talaga doon, Merrimon?
Well, actually, meron kasi, di ba, may Senate resolution dito ang minority. Yun yung isa sa inaabangan natin, yung pinakamaging, yung i-adopt ito. Ito yung tungkol sa yung pagpoprotekta sa mga tao from extraordinary, yung pagdating doon sa kung before surrender or by extradition, makapaghanap muna ng ibang legal remedies available in local courts dito sa bansa. Yan yung sinulat nga ng minority, and they are hopeful na mapangahawakan yung sinasabing karapatan in the context of Senator Bongo and Senator Bato de la Rosa na makapaghanap pa ng ibang legal remedies as much as possible. Pero so far kasi mamayang around 3 o'clock in the afternoon pa yung possible na pagsalang nito. Hindi pa natin nakikita yung pinaka-agenda for today. Dapat kahapon yun. Pero isang development din dito is etong si Senator Risa Ontiveros from the Committee on Electoral Reforms, ipepresenta niya na rin mamaya ang kanilang committee report na nakalagay na yung possible version ng anti-political dynasty law from the Senate. And so far doon sa ginawa nila regional consultations, even yung mga bersyon, pito or 8 mga senador kasi ang nag-craft ng kanya-kanyang bersyon ng anti-political dynasty law. Pero so far nakikita nila, dinidefine nila doon sa committee report yung political dynasty hanggang second degree of consanguinity or affinity. So ibig sabihin, once removed from yourself, so ang ginawang example ni Senator Risa, siya raw, so magulang niya, anak niya, kapatid niya, o kaya naman asawa. Kasama na rin dito, kahit ang question daw kung illegitimate child daw ba or legitimate child, kasama rin daw yan. Ang tinitingnan din dyan yung family code. Kasama na rin dyan yung mga couple na kahit hindi kasal, basta lang merong cohabitation o kaya naman ay nagpapakilala bilang couple, kasama rin sila sa supposedly mababan ng anti-political dynasty law. But then again, aware si Senator Risa na pwede yung ibang mga senador kapag nasalang na sa session, merong magko-content, sasabihin parang okay pa kung third degree or fourth degree. Basta para sa kanila, ang nakikita nila, ito yung magsisilbing foundation para sa mga susunod na pagbantay sa implementation nito or sa mga magsasuggest naman ng possible amendments in the long run. So far, 12 senators na raw ang pumirma sa committee report at umaasa si Senator Risa na sa session o kaya sa mga interpellation na gagawin, makukuha niya na yung suporta ng lahat ng mga senador.
Oo, 16-member yung panel at kailangan lang ng siyam, no, na votes para ito ay dumiretso sa plenary for discussion. Pero kung titingnan natin, so kombinasyon siya ng ilang miyembro ng minorya at mostly ito ay mga mga nasa majority, Merimon, pero isa lang sa mga magkakapatid sa Senado, si Erwin Tulfo, ang pumirma dito. Kung bakit walang pirma yung ibang magkakapatid, hindi ko natatanungin yun. Pero ano raw bang may sinabi ba si Senator Risa tungkol sa pagkikita ni Senator Erwin Tulfo with the Chinese ambassador?
Actually, Lourd, ang natanong natin kay Senator Risa kanina ng media ay kung siya ba, kasi ang nasabi dito na Senator Erwin Tulfo, may possible na dialogues, parang on a monthly basis or so, kasama ang Chinese Embassy officials para nga mabuo yung maayos na komunikasyon with the officials. Pero ang sinasabi sa Senator Risa, parang siya hindi raw siya pupunta doon sa, nakikita yung sarili na baka hindi pumunta sa mga pagpupulong na yun kasi nga, base sa mga naging maaanghang na palitan ng salita, mula sa mga official ng Chinese Embassy, sa mga nagiging statement, even sa resolution daw ng Senado, parang nakikita niya naman na ito yung nagiging approach netong embahada ng mga official ng Chinese Embassy. Pero sa ngayon, na nakikita ni Senator Risa, hindi raw muna siya pupunta doon sa mga pagpupulong.
Okay, Merimon, ano naman ang nakikita ni Senator Risa? 2 years from now, ano bang political plans niya daw for 2028?
Denise, natanong natin kay Senator Risa kung following yung pronouncements ni VP Sara na para sa presidential bid niya come 2028, yung pagkikita ni Naga City Mayor Leni Robredo at ni President Bongbong Marcos, ngayon ba meron bang nag-approach sa United Opposition na pro-Marcos o Marcos Administration coalitions or group? Sabi ni Senator Risa, so far wala pa raw. Ang pinaka-ina-establish pa rin nila ngayon kung sakali mang magkaroon at that point na ng diskurso, yung mga principles daw, yung shared values nila, yung mga rationale raw na kung pare-pareho raw ba ito kasi hindi pa rin naman nagbabago yung kanilang pagtingin sa magiging common candidates o standard bearers sa United Opposition. So far, walang nabanggit pa na pangalan itong Senator Risa kung magkaka-line up na ba sila for the 2028 national elections.
Right, maraming salamat sa ating mobile journal sa Senado, si Merimon Reyes. Time out muna. Dahil, nako, di ba? Totoo ba, Denise, marami pa tayong kwento sa kanila. Tulad ng sunod nilang mapapanood, global headlines from the Associated Press. At magbabalik pa rin po ang Afternoon Delight.
This is AP News Minute. A fierce winter storm could drop up to 2 feet of snow in parts of the northeastern U.S. New York City declared a state of emergency as blizzard warnings stretched from Maryland to Maine. The Mexican army says it killed powerful drug lord Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes in western Mexico on Sunday. Cartel members burned cars and blocked roads in 20 Mexican states. The Secret Service says an armed man entered the secure perimeter of President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Authorities say officers fired their weapons and the man was killed. The FBI says investigators identified him as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin of North Carolina. The White House says President Trump was not at Mar-a-Lago when the breach happened. The Homeland Security Department says the global entry program will stay closed as long as the government is partly shut down. The program lets pre-approved travelers entering the U.S. move quickly through airports.
welcome back. This is still Afternoon Delight on One News. Ako po si Lourd de Veyra.
At ako naman po si Denise. Magandang hapon pong muli. At this point, we give you a quick rundown of more stories on One News. A recent social weather station survey has found that most Filipinos believe that Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa should be held accountable for drug war killings. 53% of respondents agreed he should be liable, while 44% said he should be detained if the International Criminal Court issues an arrest warrant. The survey was released ahead of the confirmation hearings of former President Rodrigo Duterte in The Hague. President Bongbong Marcos vows that the administration will continue to prioritize food production, farmers' welfare, and the expansion of irrigation systems nationwide. That's in today's 2026 General Assembly of the National Irrigation Administration and the National Confederation of Irrigators Associations in Quezon City. The president said more than 63 billion pesos has been allocated for irrigation programs to sustain and expand existing projects. He also cited the modernized command center of NIA, which now provides real-time monitoring of dams and weather conditions. Meantime, Vice President Sara Duterte visited residents affected by Typhoon Bashang in Iligan City today. The Office of the Vice President distributed food packs, household items, and hygiene kits to evacuees. Duterte urged the residents to follow local government advisories and evacuate early during disasters. She is expected to visit 2 barangays before returning to Davao City. And Maynilad Water Services reported a 19.1% rise in net income to 15.2 billion pesos in 2025. The concessionaire's consolidated revenue also rose by 9.4% to 36.6 billion pesos. Maynilad President and CEO Ramoncito Fernandez said fiscal year 2025 showed strong financial performance and service improvements.
Preposterous. That's how Palace Press Officer Claire Castro calls the claims of Duterte's lead counsel. In most part of his opening statement today, on Monday, Nicholas Kaufman blasted the Marcos administration and its so-called political demagoguery. He also praised his client Duterte and called on the ICC to send to Filipinos their tatay or father back home. Something Castro said was out of line. Instead of focusing on Duterte's defense, the palace spokesperson believes Kaufman only distorted the timeline of the case. Castro reiterated that neutralize is a word apt for Duterte and not Marcos. The undersecretary stressed that the ICC has been probing the former president since 2017 when Marcos was only a private citizen.
Ano po ba ang reaksyon ng palasyo doon sa naging opening statements, lalo na po ng defense kanina?
Hindi naman katakataka, Pauline. Ever since naman yan na ang isinisigaw ng kampo ni dating Pangulong Duterte at mukhang ina-adapt lang ng abogado niyang si Atty. Kaufman. Lumalabas kasi dito, Pauline, na walang kaalam-alam itong si Atty. Kaufman ng katotohanan. Dahil sabi nga natin mukhang siya yung may lumalabas na siya yung may severe cognitive impairment as kumpara sa kanyang kliyente. Kung ano man ang depensa niya, we don't care. Ang sa atin lang dito, wag niya lang dadamay ang Pangulo dahil puro yung kasinungalingan. Kung anong depensa niya sa atin ngayon, wala tayong nakikitang matatag, matibay na ebidensya para mapakita niyang walang kasalanan ang dating Pangulong Duterte. But still, sabi nga natin, ang Pangulo ay hindi makikialam dyan. Huwag lang idadamay ang pangalan niya. At ang administrasyon na ito.
Meantime, defense lawyer Nicholas Kaufman has blamed media coverage for what he described as a negative global perception of former President Rodrigo Duterte. On the first day of the ICC confirmation of charges hearing, Kaufman argued that reports focused on what he called salacious content while ignoring the broader context of Duterte's remarks and policies during the war on drugs. The defense claims this narrative contributed to Duterte's arrest and prosecution in The Hague.
It starts with the media, controlled by the powerful and the politically influential. With a sensational headline and a twisted editorial slant, the moguls sell their papers while promoting the partisan agenda of their backers in power. They highlight the salacious content while ignoring the true context.
For National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, Chair Jonathan De Santos, Kaufman's claim is unfair and insulting to journalists.
Basically, what they're saying is we're missing the context or basically we're making it up or sensationalizing. No? Pero kung titingnan naman natin, it really is sensational na may mga pinapatay na supposed drug personalities without trial, without benefit of formal charges. No? Nakaka-shock naman talaga yun. And if you look back on the reporting, I don't think anyone ever said na labas ito sa konteksto ng war on drugs. Ang unfair to be saying that, no? Ang actual scandal dito or actual dapat na kumbaga kinakatakutan natin dito or kinakagulat natin dito ay mga pinatay, hindi yung supposed slant or supposed na yun nga angles, no?
Alright, why klase ug trabaho karong adlaw diya sa Cebu? Bakit ka mo?
Bakit
Intindihan mo ba yung sinabi
ko?
ko?
Walang klase sa Cebu.
Aba, talaga. Hindi ka
Kabaluman ko.
Hindi, Ilonggo yun eh.
Pwede na yun. Naintindihan ko pa. Intindi.
Because it is the city's 89th Charter Day, and to tell us more about it and the activities for this special day, our man in Cebu, Dale, Israel. Dale, hubog ka na ba, Dale?
Maayong hapon, Lourd and Denise. Cebu is celebrating its 89th Charter Days anniversary, which has been declared official holiday here in Cebu City. Kasi yung ilang estudyante kasi walang pasok today and tomorrow. According to Mayor Nestor Archival, the celebration served as a tribute to the father of the city charter, Don Vicente Rama, for the efforts that guided Cebu's status as a chartered city 89 years ago. Although Cebu was established more than 400 years ago, it was only on February 24, 1937 that it officially became a chartered or highly urbanized city. Mayor Archival added that the charter date should serve as a reminder to every Cebuano of the rich history and as an inspiration to continue working towards the city progress. Earlier today, a wreath-laying ceremony was also held at the statue of Don Vicente Rama at Pasasugo here at near City Hall. There is it's just a simple celebration this year. This No Charter Day bonus was also released, and the celebration remains simple out of respect for the city's current financial situation. According to Mayor Archival, he warned that releasing bonuses despite pending audit issues and a 91 million peso deficit in 2025 could result in a notice of disallowance and possible administrative penalties. The Commission on Audit had earlier flagged incentives for granted in 2023 and 2024 and directed the city to first address these concerns before releasing any additional benefits. Several distinguished individuals are also set to be honored later tonight, including 4 posthumous awardees. Among them is artist Budoy Maribiles of the Cebu Reggae Band Junior Cleanup. Meanwhile, the celebration kicked off on February 28 with a photo exhibit at the Yala Center Cebu featuring more than 30 photographs showcasing the city's history, heritage, and development. These photos highlight the significant historical events, heritage landmarks, major infrastructure projects, and important milestones in the growth of Cebu. That's the latest here in Cebu. Back to you, Lourd and Denise.
Alright, ang akong amigo na si Budoy Maraviles. Original Sigbin, daghang salamat at muhulat mi sa lechon ang ating One News Cebu Desk. Dale Israel. Thanks, Dale.
Now moving on to sports, Leg Power takes center stage as iconic Tour of Luzon gears up for its biggest race yet this coming April. Mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho tells us more.
The wheels are turning once again for one of the country's most historic sporting events. The Tour of Luzon 2026 was officially launched yesterday at the Meralco Lighthouse, alongside an advanced screening of the Tour of Luzon 2025 docufilm.
This year, the legacy lives. And in the 11 months since the Great Revival, it has accelerated into an unstoppable momentum.
The 2026 edition will cover more than 1,800 kilometers across 5 regions, 13 provinces, and over 60 local government units. 20 teams will compete for more than 12 million pesos in prize money, with the race starting in Calatagan and ending with a tough mountain finish in Baguio. Backing the event is the MVP Group, which continues to push for world-class standards and even bigger dreams for Filipino cycling.
Last year, we were able to revive the Tour of Luzon. We all know what it took to undertake a world-class event such as the Tour of Luzon. Our goal is to have 1 or 2 Filipino riders to join the Tour de France.
As support for the tour continues to grow, officials see it as a major opportunity to showcase the Philippines to the world as a rising hub for sports tourism.
You know, last year, from 0 to 100 million views, now I'm expecting baka 200 million ang SOCMED views natin.
Set from April 29 to May 13, the Tour of Luzon 2026 is set to roll. Kapatid Denise Sancho, we are One News.
And this is still Afternoon Delight on One News, so just need to pause for another break. And promise, we will be right back.
February 24th, 1868. In Washington, Andrew Johnson becomes the first American president to be impeached. The House of Representatives impeaches Johnson after he tries to fire Secretary of War Edwin Stanton. Johnson is later acquitted by a single vote in the Senate. 1920, what becomes known as the Nazi Party holds its first major meeting in Munich, Germany. Under Adolf Hitler, the Nazis later turned Germany into a dictatorship that brings World War II and the Holocaust. 1945, American forces liberate the Philippine capital of Manila from Japanese control in the final months of World War II. 1981, in London, Buckingham Palace announces Britain's Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer are engaged. Their wedding takes place later that year. The couple separates, then divorces in the following decade. And in 1999, Lauryn Hill wins 5 Grammys for her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. She sets a record for a female artist that has since been tied by Alicia Keys, Norah Jones, and Beyoncé. Today in history, February 24th. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Huling Martes ng Pebrero pala, biruin mo yun. Magandang araw po muli. Ito pa rin po ang Afternoon Delight. Siya po si Denise Tan.
Siya naman po, si Lourd de Veyra.
At yun ang kare-kare.
Ayun, ang ating Delight of the Day ngayon ay kare-kare. Of course, dahil ang ating Delight of the Week theme ay bagoong. Nang-warm up ka na kagad,
Mga iengot-engot, mababalagoong.
Grabe yung shoulder rolls,
Narinig mo ba yan?
Ano?
Alam mo naman kasi, tayo mga boksingero
Shoulder rolls para kumain ng
Kala mo, para saan yun? Ito lang pala Bobogchi ako.
Okay, sige.
Paano ka kumain ng kare-kare?
Ako, gusto ko yung peanut sauce na nasa, yung talagang sabaw na sabaw sa kanin, tapos pati yung bagoong ihahalo ko sa kanin.
Hindi mo siya nilalagay per part?
Ay, per part naman. Pero ibig ko sabihin, bago siya, hindi ako kumbaga ipapatong yung bagoong sa beef, tas yung beef sa kanin. Gusto ko siya yung parang kahit parte-parte.
Kung may beef.
Meron naman.
Galing nito, may garlic yung natin Yung kare-kare. Sige nga.
Tikman ko ba? Gusto ko iuwi
Patawarin mo na. Sibugin mo na yan.
Sige. Tikman natin.
Gusto ko rin yung hindi agad hinahalo yung mga green leafies. Para medyo crunchy pa siya.
Teka lang. What's your verdict? Tsaka gusto ko to. Ang dami kong nakakaing vegetables kasi pag kangkong.
Correct.
As opposed to pag yung mga ibang ulam na kahit bilhin mo siya sa labas, minsan, di ba, kunyari, bumili ka ng adobo, kanin, usually ganun lang. Extra order pa yung gulay. Alam na mga, natin yan, viewers natin yan.
Alala ko noon, yung bata ako, yung unang kain ko sa Barrio Fiesta. Pagpasok mo pa lang, may palayok. Kasi may lasa daw yun
Yung
Yung pag sa palayok mo niluluto yung kare-kare.
Talaga ba?
At yung iniinitan na ilalim ng palayok ay may effect. May certain amoy siya na parang comforting siya sa akin. Tapos pag nakagat mo pa yung yes, masaya ka? Utangan niyo si Denise Tan, maganda yung mood niya ngayon. Alright, here's some stories on social media. On One News, all set for the EDSA 40th anniversary celebration with the 3rd trillion peso march. Maraming activities. Bukas na po mangyayari yan. Lahat. Wednesday, February 25th. Ang theme for the Anti-Corruption March, tayo ang people, power laban sa korupsyon at dinastiya. Pero may mga hindi pa rin magkasundo eh.
Saan?
Kung anong iba-ibang grupo.
Oo.
So, interesting. Pero paminsan-minsan, unity pa rin.
Unity. At tignan natin kung anong turnout tomorrow. Tomorrow is 40th anniversary, of course.
Ang 40 ay mahalagang numero sa mitolohiya, sa religion. Sa Biblia, ang number 40, maraming significance. 40 is the number of days that Jesus spent in the desert, yung nag-fasting siya. 40 is the number of days that Moses supposedly spent in Mount Sinai bago niya natanggap yung Ten Commandments. At 40, ang araw, bilang ng araw ng kay Moses, no? Yung floods. 40 days sa tagal yun. So, sino nagsabi na hindi tayo nagbabasa ng Holy Book?
Ayun.
40, sa kultura natin, yung pagluluksa. Di ba?
Tama.
Ang 40th.
Ayun.
At wala pang 40 si Denise Tan. Yan.
Wala pa, no? Grabe ka naman.
Grabe namang violente protesta agad.
Kinaklaro ko lang.
Kinaklaro niya lang.
Hindi, nagpapaliwanag lang.
Nagpapaliwanag lang.
Diba? Okay, puntahan natin ang susunod nating story on the Philippine Star and One News. Mayweather to fight Pacquiao in Las Vegas in September. Naku, kaabang-abang talaga ito. No? Alam natin.
Pag ganyan ba, partner, when both fighters are not in their prime, siseryosohin pa ba natin yan?
I think so. I think we should. I mean, the last time they faced each other back in 2015, it was considered as the fight of the century. Although alam natin na ang nagwagi nun si Floyd Mayweather. Oo.
Pero ang daya kasi, puro depensa eh. Tapos nagka-counter punch. Although sasabihin na ng iba, yun nga yung style
yun ang tactic niya eh. Oo. So, diba sige, abangan natin to. Both, si Mayweather kasi sabi niya, in-announce niya nga to, no, coming out of retirement, nakakalabanin niya daw si Pacquiao. And that will be on September 19. Oo, September 19.
Kasi parang, ultimo si Mayweather ay hindi siya kumbinsido sa victory niya. Kasi, alam mo naman sa mga Pinoy, gusto na talagang bagsakan talaga, di ba?
Yung kumbaga, wala kang pwede iprotesta, di ba?
Oo, yung talagang, parang si Ricky Hatton. Parang, hindi mo pwede sabihin na nagkaroon ng lutuan sa desisyon. Pero kasi, ano tawag dito? There was a time na si Mayweather ang highest paid athlete. Hindi si Michael Jordan, ha? Si Mayweather, bakit nga ba?
Well, grabe naman kasi yung record niya, no? And speaking of getting paid, I believe he earned around $300 million dun sa huli nilang laban in 2015. So,
biruin mo si Ricky si McGregor, tinalo pa niya.
Oh, di ba?
Pero hindi naman kasi boksingero si McGregor.
Iba naman ang ang art nun.
Oo. So abangan natin yan. Pero malay mo, di ba? Ito kasi yung warrior instinct. Alam ko kung sabihin nila, pera-pera lang yan. Parehong mayaman na itong mga ito, hindi na kailangan yun eh.
I mean, I guess, the athlete in them will always be there kasi regardless if, alam mo yon, both of them wala naman na talagang kailangan patunayan. But in any game or in any fight na papasukin mo as an athlete, gusto mo ba rin talagang manalo?
Oo, yun yung instinct talaga.
Oo.
Lalo na sa sport na yan.
That's right. Hindi, pero alam mo, pag atleta ka talaga, kahit pick-up game, ang dami kong kilala. Kahit
marami rin kilala.
Oo,
nahilig ma-make up.
Ba yun?
Ba yun?
Oo, pero kahit pick-up games lang, talagang nakikipag-pisikalan.
Ito lang dapat. Otherwise, laro na nga, nilalaro nyo pa. Yan ang term nila. Kaya dapat may pustahan.
Ganun ba yun?
Hindi pera, kundi lusutan. At maganda yan sa mga may edad na, talagang pahiyaan talaga.
Yung lusutan.
Maglalaro ka talaga. Dati, parang isang Coke litro, plus lusutan.
Nakakainis yung lusot eh. Ginagawa din namin yun ng college eh.
Ganun dapat, para
Oo.
hindi ka amoy
Ano?
tunnel.
Okay, ito. Punta lang tayo sa susunod nating story on a Philippine star. Via Life, Rob Jetten is sworn in as youngest Prime Minister of the Netherlands at 38 years old. He is the first openly gay Dutch PM or Prime Minister. Okay, so parang teka lang babalikan ko tong article na to because I was reading about it, na parang come from behind yung kanyang win. Tapos sabi nga ni Jetten, it's possible to beat populist movements if you campaign with a positive message for your country. Ganun yung ginawa niyang style sa kanyang kampanya.
Very liberal talaga pagdating sa sexuality. At marami pang factors ang the Netherlands, ano? Iyan ang isa sa mga unang bansa na nag-allow ng legalized drugs, no? Prostitution din. Although controlled substances,
Yes.
sa ano. Pero recently, they took a somewhat sudden turn for extremism pagdating lalong-lalo na sa immigration. Medyo right-winger yung huli nilang naging pinuno, no? Pero sa gantong aspect, hindi naman kagulat-gulat ako sa the Netherlands.
Oo, napaka naman. Bukas naman sila sa mga ganyang pag-iisip. Okay, shifting now to sports. MVP Group CEO Manny V. Pangilinan led the opening of the MVP Olympics 2026 this weekend at the Meralco Grounds in Pasig. This kicks off the annual Intercompany Sports Festival from across the group's business units competing in various events. News 5's MJ Marfori has this report.
Mr. Manny V. Pangilinan!
Pinangungunahan mismo ni MVP Group of Companies CEO and President Manny V. Pangilinan ang opisyal na pagbubukas ng MVP Olympics 2026 sa Meralco Grounds sa Pasig City nitong weekend. Present sa lighting of the torch, si Gilas Pilipinas star Dwight Ramos. May live performances din mula sa nag-iisang Asia songbird, Regine Velasquez Alcacid.
Magkahawak ang ating kamay at walang kamalay-malay.
At dance royalty, Maha Salvador.
Baby, eat this peach and this plum.
Nagkaroon din ng street dance at cosplay competition. Naglaban-laban ang MVP Group employees sa iba't ibang sports gaya ng basketball, volleyball at tennis. Pinakainaabangan din ang All-Star Basketball Game na gaganapin mamaya kung saan maghaharap ang mga celebrity. Pangungunahan ni Meralco Bolts coach Luigi Trillo ang white team. Kasama sina Dylan Minor, Marco Gallio, Derek Ramsey, JC De Vera at David Licauco as players. Si TNT Tropang 5-team team manager naman na naging coach ng Blue Team. At ang starting 5, Diego Loizaga, Wendell Ramos, Enrique Hill, Robin Angeles at Joao Constancia. Kaya kanya-kanyang practice na ang parehong teams. May special performance din sina Jed Madela at Jonah sa All-Star Game. Layo ng MVP Olympics sa palakasin ng teamwork, sportsmanship at camaraderie sa loob ng organisasyon.
Salamat sila.
Ano?
Wala ako doon sa Basketball All-Stars.
O kung hindi,
Kundi yari sila sa pag-abot ko ng tubig.
o bakit? Crucial din na yun
magaling ako mag-ganyan. Abutan tuwalya. Boss,
Pero sumali ka na ba ever? Bakit? May sport ka naman
paano ba sumasali?
Hindi ko alam. Ako kasi inimbitahan dati eh.
O kung kailangan niyang magpiping-pong, pwede ako dyan.
O, diba? Oy, seryoso
Konting warm-up lang.
Oo.
Durugin natin ang kalaban.
Yun ang sport talaga ni Lourd. Okay, sige, batiin naman natin ngayon ang lahat ng nanonood sa Afternoon Delight via live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok.
Kamo, ikaw dati sumali ka sa MVP
Sumali ako,
Olympics.
2014 ata.
Balita ko, talo daw kayo.
Kakainis nga eh.
Di ba nakakahiya yun? Dati ko
Podium finish naman kami. Tsaka grabe naman yung mga kalaban namin. Parang yung first 6 nila, 5.
Ala? So pwede bang mag-import, kumuha ng hugot o haha?
Hindi, you have to be part of the company. Kaya lang nagkataon yung mga kalaban namin noon.
Bagong hire?
Mga kasabayan ko puro mga athlete
Yun
din.
lang.
Oo.
Kanya-kanyang diskarte lang yan. Okay, binabati natin sila Johnson Telices, si Pist 154, si Inday Fro 4780, si Markian, si Genelica Coy, at si Alex de la Cruz, kay
Alex
Cross-Chain,
Fuentes.
NZS, Melvin Yape. Pakibati nanay niya si Mila Yape, nanonood ngayon.
Hello po.
Nanay Mila.
Okay, Tita Redel, Tita Jane Katapia, hello.
Lemuria at Random Filipino Things. Hello.
Comment si Kuya Mer, ganda ng lighting.
Sino ba yung mer na yan?
Alex Fuentes nanonood sa atin, of course.
Maganda rin yung maganda yung aircon.
Oo nga. Nagtugma-tugma lahat today.
Yes.
Oo.
Si DJ Mer yan eh.
Buti na lang. Okay, sige, that will have to do it for us this last Tuesday of February. Thank you for watching Afternoon Delight. Ako po, si Denise Tan.
Tuloy mo na, Denise Tan.
Join us again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Siya po si Lourd Veyra. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time. Have a delightful afternoon.